If you've traveled anytime, anywhere, the best two words that you can see are on time. Well, that's the same with some NFL teams, particularly the Kansas City Chiefs, because it's OTAs, right? But in this episode of Defending the Kingdom, it might be on-time arrival.
Mahomes in the pocket, he'll step up, he'll scramble 10, 5, Mahomes, diving, touchdown, Kansas City!
Hi everyone, I'm Mitch Holthus, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, along with senior team reporter, and I should have got your new title right here because you now have gone from non-commissioned officer to an officer.
Yeah.
And so outrank me. I was a specialist
no.
for anyway. So anyway, congratulations.
Thank you.
A well-deserved promotion for Matt McMullen. So
Thanks.
way to go, brother.
Yeah, I'm our director of editorial content, which I kind of just made up, but pretty cool. I grew up as a fan of this team, and I was an intern here back in the day, so it does mean a lot to me. But mainly, I'm just glad to get to keep hanging out here with you and talking football,
There are people in the Smithsonian Institution that were director of editorial content.
Fair
so
enough.
It's awesome, and so well-deserved. It's so cool here. But
Thanks.
Okay, you just traveled, and usually I don't like to talk about travel for the two of us before the travel, just because being a public figure and it can lead to weird things. But we can talk about your travel now that you just visited South Korea, which is very awesome, and your beautiful wife, who is of South Korean descent, to go back there. How was it, and was everything on time? Because we're dealing with on-time arrival.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. So this has been a trip that's been planned for a couple of years. Didn't know if it was going to happen throughout the entirety of that. If you've been listening to this podcast over the years, you know I've talked about the rumblings of this trip over time, and it finally happened. Went to South Korea with my wife and her parents. So Ellie was adopted from South Korea when she was 3 months old, has never been back, and for her, this was obviously a big deal. It was a chance to go back to where she was born. It's like if you grew up in, I don't know, Europe or something and went back to Smith Center for the very first time. It's pretty cool. And to be along for that journey was awesome. And I got to eat a lot of great food and experience South Korea. I think it's my favorite place I've ever been on vacation. It was just unbelievable and couldn't recommend it enough. The strangest thing, though, is generally everywhere that we've been over the years, there's some kind of presence of NFL football. There's nothing there. No NFL football at all. The only NFL football I saw at all was near one of the temples we went to. I saw a Korean businessman with an Eagles hat on. And I'm like, whoa! But that was the only football I saw the entire time. A lot of baseball, a little bit of basketball, but no football at all. So there's an opportunity there, I think, for us.
But what and you probably saw it, but in studying the Korean culture, wonderful people.
Oh, so nice, so kind and friendly.
And awesome.
Efficiency. Everything's clean. One thing that stood out to me is we took a train from Seoul to Busan, and at the train station, Seoul Station, it's like Grand Central Station, right? I mean, it's the epicenter for the entire country. They have their big board up where it has the delays, and thankfully not everything is just in Hangul there, which is their character system. They have the Latin alphabet up there, which is helpful. That's kind of going back and forth. But for the delays section, for all these trains, 0 minutes, 0 minutes, 0 minutes, 0 minutes, no delays. It's like we could just get rid of that section. Nothing's ever delayed.
On time. Your flights to go there, because it's a long trip. Was it on time?
Well, so flying out of Seattle, no, we were 2 hours delayed. But flying out of Seoul back here, we were on time.
So if the Koreans would have been in control of your flight leaving the States to go there, it would have been
on time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So we travel a lot. I used to do a lot of college basketball, which took years off my life because you're Saturday in one spot on one part of the earth, and Sunday by 2 o'clock you've got to the other. So I'm doing a game at West Virginia. And at West Virginia, in Morgantown, you've got to fly out of Pittsburgh. The airport's on the west end of town. When we play the Steelers, we fly in there. But I'm going to Morgantown, icy, blizzard. But I'm now done a West Virginia game Saturday, like 2 o'clock Eastern, and now I've got to do a 2 o'clock Central time game at Illinois State, which is Bloomington Normal, Central Illinois. But I got a flight out of Pittsburgh through Chicago. We're good. You're hoping for on time. I'm
guessing you don't get that.
Cancel, delayed, cancel, delayed, cancel, delayed, cancel. I got to get a car.
Yeah.
And I just start driving all through the night in ice and snow, and I made it. I did the game. I don't think I was very good, but drove through the night, slept in my car. It was great. So
The things you'll do for Illinois State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, on ESPN. So anyway, on-time arrival, okay? So this episode is called On Time Arrival. Before we get to that and why we've called this episode that with OTAs and a double meaning here, let's go around the world.
I feel like we haven't gone around the world on DTK in a while.
We haven't.
We've had a lot of pertinent business to get to and haven't done this, so I'm catching up on a few.
Blow the dust off the space station.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Mike in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm sure Mike's pretty fired up about Emmett Johnson.
Just talked to EJ. He's we'll get to him in a second. Yeah.
I like him a lot.
I do too.
Yeah, his whole demeanor is great. I ran into Mikey while picking up some breakfast the morning of the first night of the draft. That shows how long it's been since we've done this, but scribbled Mikey's name down. Thanks for saying hi, Mikey.
Mikey's different than Mike?
Yes, Mikey is different
Mike
than Mike.
from Lincoln, Nebraska. Where's Mikey from?
So just over in Shawnee, Kansas.
All right.
Yeah.
The Life cereal Mikey? Is this the one?
It might be. Yeah.
Way back?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It could be.
Wow, that's celebrities.
So I had the opportunity to host the Salvation Army Civic Luncheon a few weeks ago, which is always an amazing event. I mean, the Salvation Army does so many incredible things for people all around the world, and it's a great event, and I'm very honored to be a part of it. But shout out to Taylor, who works behind the front desk at the Marriott where this was happening in downtown Kansas City, because I was working on my notes because there were some last-second revisions to the script, and thankfully Taylor had a highlighter I could use. Otherwise, I might have been in some trouble. And Taylor listens to DTK.
Was she aware of your promotion?
Taylor is a man.
Oh, Taylor's a man.
Yeah.
Was he aware of your promotion?
This is before that.
Because I think if Taylor is females, I don't know why.
can go for both,
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
But why? I don't know why Taylor has a female connotation to me. All right,
don't know.
so Kelsey. Oh yeah. Okay. So Taylor's a man. Was he aware of your promotion?
This is long before the promotion took
If
place.
it would have been able to say, Mr. McMullen, you can have a suite.
He did offer me breakfast, actually, which I wish I could have taken him up on, but we had to go ahead and get on with the luncheon. But Taylor was great, so shout out to you, Taylor. Then lastly, shout out to the 2026 Chiefs cheer team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Steph Judah, who is our director of entertainment teams and in charge of our cheer team, is amazing. And she has me come to cheer practice every once in a while just to talk some ball with the gang. And they're so awesome. They are incredibly dynamic humans who are so good at everything. And their whole culture of camaraderie and sisterhood and everything they have going on is amazing, and how they represent our team is incredible. So got to hang out with them the other night, and shout out to all of you. You're amazing.
I think 10 rookies this year. Am I correct in that? 10 to 12?
Not sure off the top of my head, but that sounds right, yeah.
It just continues. The squad just continues to improve and get better, and their footprint expands. So that's an awesome one.
Yeah, they're awesome.
So, yeah. Speaking of Smith Center, they won the 2A state track title.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah, in Kansas. Whoa, let's do it. All right, on-time arrival. OTAs. Oh, wait a minute. Off-season training activity, because you get asked every day, so do I, what about Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah.
And what we've been able to see in OTAs thus far, and the guy's an alien, first of all right? We know that. He's an alien. But two, if you were looking at the board at the airport of Mahomes, where are we at? And I would just say on-time arrival. I think it's on time.
Yeah.
And that would be the best way to put it in what he's done and how he's done it and the effort and the zeal in which he's put into his recovery after the ACL, LCL surgery.
His mindset and mentality and the way he attacks it is incredible. No surprise, as far as we can tell, and based on everything that he's said and others have said, he's attacking rehab like he'd be attacking a game plan for the Super Bowl, right? That same kind of mindset. And there's a long way to go. He'll be the first to say that you can't get too bogged down into looking at the timetable, looking forward, trying to say, hey, I'll be ready by blank date. It's all about just being great today and being great tomorrow and taking it day by day. But with all that being said, the fact that during OTAs, just 5 months after suffering that injury, he's out there participating in 7-on-7, it's super exciting.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I was just talking to him about Najari Kennedy, who's the great softball pitcher for Texas Tech. She's going for a national title again. She's a Chiefs fan, huge Chiefs fan.
Of course.
We know Caitlin Clark is a big Chiefs fan, right? But the top softball player on the planet right now is from Topeka, Kansas, Topeka High, and my granddaughter's favorite player. She likes Trey Smith and Najari Kennedy. But anyway, the incredible competitor that she is, and she has just raised that entire Texas Tech team. But that's what Pat already is doing with this entire team and what we've been able to notice with OTAs just because of who he is and how he approaches every day. I know it sounds cliche and trite, but he's attacking this, and it's why we get the feeling, hey, this flight's on time.
And the fact that he wants to be out on the field, I think, says a lot. A lot of players, particularly in his position and who have accomplished as much as he has, if they were kind of dealing with this kind of rehab, we wouldn't bat an eye if he was in Texas or if he just stayed in the facility and didn't go out in the field. Totally understand that. No, he doesn't do that. He wants to be out in the field because it shows all of his teammates, hey, I'm rehabbing this injury. I'm still putting the work in. I'm doing everything I possibly can to help this team win next year. And if you're any other player on this roster, you see that and you say, if that guy's working that hard, I have to work even harder, right? So I think it's really cool. And, 7-on-7 is a pure passing drill. It's like football without the lineman. The next step for him is being able to protect himself and go out there and play 11-on-11 football. But, so far to see what he's doing, considering where he was just 5 months ago, it's really, really cool. And, we're not surprised, right? Just a testament to who he is.
Yeah, it's what we see that is not necessarily open to the public, and the fact that his impact, he's a way better people say, really that? No, he's better than you think. And his impact is way bigger than you think, and it goes beyond stats and 3 Super Bowl MVPs and 2-time NFL MVP. It goes way, way, way beyond that. And we're seeing that now in 2026 with Pat's on-time arrival. All right, that's where it is as of early June. Now, the other area, there's a couple areas. We're going to talk on 3 here with OTAs so far, and that's the defensive line potential, particularly the interior defensive line. We know about Chris Jones right now being the top, if not one of the top 2 or 3 in the NFL, but he's got help. Peter Woods, we featured him after we drafted him out of Clemson late in the first round. But to get Kairos Tonga to come in from the New England Patriots, and then hopefully Norman Lott continues his comeback from his injury. That group of 4, if that's your 4 in a rotation for on-time arrival, you will be so much better in the defensive front and allows Chris Jones to have some freedom to do some other things.
Yeah, on paper, that group looks much improved. And we've talked about it really at length on DTK over the last several months. But that was an area we had to get better. Interior defensive line. We had to get better there and get Chris Jones some help. And I think we've done that, where the group that you just laid out, that's a really solid group where you can rotate players in and have fresh legs and have a consistent push on the pocket in passing situations and also be able to shut down the running game. I have some painful stats here to go over, but it kind of helps illustrate why I think this is so important. So we've talked a lot about how critical long third downs were a pain point for this team last year. So I'm going to go through a few of them. So Chargers in week 1 in Brazil, 3rd and 14 for the Chargers on their final drive. They're on their side of the field, and we're down 6.
Yeah, Pat could get the ball back and a chance to go win the game.
With, I think, around 2 minutes left.
Yeah, there's plenty of time.
There's time. You're going to have good field position. And Mahomes is going to go win the game. Let's just be honest. He's going to win the game, right? And we can't get off the field on 3rd and 14. Herbert scrambles. They win that game. Okay, that's one
part of my therapy is to watch these over and over and over. But thank you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and listen, doing this earlier today was not fun, but it's important. So the Eagles in week 2. So they're facing a 3rd and 10 in the 4th quarter, up just 3 points. Hurts hits Devontae Smith for a huge gain, like 34 yards, leads to a touchdown. They go up by 10, and we end up losing that game by, I think, 3 points. The Jags in week 5, 3rd and 7 on the Jags' final drive. We're winning this game. We're up by 4 points against Jacksonville, but they convert that 3rd and 7. Big throw to Brian Thomas Jr. They end up winning that game. The Broncos in week 11. This one is the one that sticks with me. So 3rd and 15 and a tie game with 2 minutes left. They get 20 yards. They go down, kick the game-winning field goal. They win that game. And the Cowboys in week 13.
But if you get that stop against the Broncos, you're going to get the ball tied and a chance to win the game.
And Butker wins the game.
You don't need a touchdown.
Yeah.
That one's near the top of the stack. But yes, I've watched these over and over.
And that's when the season turned, really, in my opinion.
Yep.
But then the Cowboys game, a lot of long third downs given up in the Cowboys game. But to stick with this theme, it's 3rd and 8 in the 4th quarter for Dallas. And they hit George Pickens for 39 yards. We were up 1 at that point. They hit Pickens for 39 yards. They go on to win the game. So my point is, that is 5 of the 8 losses when Mahomes was healthy came down to a long third down conversion in the 4th quarter when the Chiefs were either winning, losing by less than a touchdown, or in a tie game. think about that. I mean, football comes down to just these plays, right? And if you have the 3 of those go the Chiefs' direction instead of all 5 going the other way, even 2 of them, the Chiefs might be in the playoffs. So I get back to the point about pass rush because what was the common denominator in a lot of those third downs? It was the lack of a pass rush, and not just the edge defenders. I think the interior pass rush, because it's much improved, we can hopefully get off the field on the long third downs in the fourth quarter that we'll see next year. And I think that could be the story of the season in a way where we say, hey, why did the Chiefs win 11, 12 games and make the playoffs when they couldn't do so last year? Those long third downs, I think, will be a major difference for this team, hopefully.
You could do nothing more offensively in that scenario.
Exactly.
You go 11-6 instead of 6-11.
Yeah.
And thank you for that, because I stare at the ceiling fan in the middle of the night.
Did you enjoy that?
It's so good again to revisit it. And the ceiling fan's not even moving. It's great. And my copay stayed at $40. Like, it's so good in the therapy that I've got. So
Tammy's like, Mitch, snap out of it.
Yeah. So another piece of this is Ashton Gelati, because year 1 to year 2 can become cliche in this league, but it's actually a very real thing. And one thing that we're watching in OTAs, and we're going to mention a couple different guys in this realm, but Ashton Gelati is one of those guys, because we're seeing the potential for him and his versatility to play inside and outside. That could be another profound step in moving in that scenario alone, that stack of plays, of flipping them the other way.
So the final 3 games last year when we were eliminated from the playoffs, kind of uncharted territory for us, I mean, in a long time, right? And you and I kind of made the decision in all of our pregame shows and podcasts and all that, we're not going to do all this breaking down the matchup. Like, we understand these games aren't going to get us to the playoffs. So how can we approach these from a Chiefs perspective? Well, it's all about how can we start the process for next year right now. And Ashton Gelati is a good example of that, because Gelati played at least 50% of the defensive snaps in each of the Chiefs' final 5 games last year. We talked about it back then, even though it wasn't a lot of fun playing the Titans and the Broncos and the Raiders with nothing to play for in terms of the standings. There was a lot to play for in terms of player development. And Ashton Gelati is one of those guys that got a big opportunity to go out there and just play and try to see how you can improve and build and create momentum going into this season. And I think we're seeing that right now with him, because, during OTAs, there's no contact really. They're not wearing pads. We won't know where he's at as a player until we get to training camp and they can put the pads on. But I think personally, just by watching him out there, his speed, his change of direction, and just kind of how he looks so sturdy. He's just strong and has a strong base. I'm excited about Ashton Gelati. So I'm expecting a big jump from him this year, and we'll see what he can do in training camp.
Very athletic, sneaky athletic. And the other area, this is the other stack we'll talk about on another DTK coming up, and that's special teams. He actually can help you in so many ways on special teams, Ashton Gelati. But speaking of those last 3 weeks and our approach, Noel Williams now segues into the other part that we're excited about, and that is the potential of the defensive back group, especially the corners, because you've added now Mansour Delane. You have got Noel Williams, who to me becomes the Ashton Gelati of the defensive secondary. We've seen him now push forward and seeing signs that he is making the necessary steps. What I love about him is the potential. He'll knock the ball out. He gives you that Seahawk DB kind of potential of Peanut Tillman type, and trying to force more turnovers. That's another stack we can get into. You mentioned the one big one, but there's 2 more stacks, and one is to try to get turnovers. This team had 12 takeaways last year. It's hard to win in the NFL if you don't take the ball away.
Noel's a dog, isn't he?
He is a dog.
He just is. I love his attitude. I love his mentality. And he's not scared of anybody. There was even times last year where he might get called for a penalty, and you don't ever want to see a guy get called for a penalty, but there was times when he would do it, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm okay with that, because he's not backing down from Nico Collins or Cortland Sutton or whoever he's facing. He's not scared of these guys, and his tenacity and his physicality, I think, will lend to a great career and hopefully a good season this year. I'm with you on how he got a real opportunity the end of last year, because I scribbled it down. He played at least 85% of the defensive snaps in 4 of the Chiefs' final 5 games last year, and 100% of the defensive snaps in 3 of the final 4. So he got a chance last year to show what he could do, and I think he was impressive, and he's showing it out there during OTAs.
Yeah, and we're seeing Christian Fulton He's healthy, and we're seeing him do some things that we anticipated at the beginning of last year and that we saw when he was playing with the Chargers. That's good to see. And then a rotation. And Christian Roland-Wallace, who we've seen him continue to ascend. And then the safety rotation, where you've added Alohi Gilman to go in with Jaden Hicks and also Chamari Connor. So that whole group, to me, is encouraging. The final group we're going to jump into here on this edition of Defending the Kingdom, which is on-time arrival. Everything we want to see up there is, hey, it's on time, is the running back room. I cannot think of 32 teams in the NFL, in doing a quick scan in my brain, that there is a room that has improved as much as the Chiefs running back room of any NFL team.
Yeah.
What we are seeing is a running back room which has an incredible ceiling.
Ken Walker is as advertised.
Yep.
He's really, really impressive. And again, it's OTAs. There's no pads, but at least in the passing game so far, he's just popped every chance we've had a chance to watch practice. There was one last week during the open media day where he caught a screen with one hand and got upfield. His ability, I think, to not only be a weapon in the passing game, but to make defenders miss, to create missed tackles, and to create big plays maybe out of nothing is just really exciting. And that's what we need because this team was not very explosive last year. We talked about that really all season long and at length this offseason. We had just 3 rushing plays of 20 or more yards last year, and just one of those came from a running back. One was from Kareem, one from Xavier Worthy, and one from Patrick Mahomes. Well, how about this? Ken Walker and Amari DiMercado, who we're very excited about as well, they combined for 12 of those runs all by themselves last year. So even if they don't have that production, if they just have half of that production, that's doubling what we had last year, right? So as a team. So it's just really exciting to think about what those two guys can add to this offensive backfield. Brashard Smith, I think, has improved. He got a real shot at the end of last year with, I think, 14 touches against the Raiders in the final game of the season. He's building off of that. And Emmett Johnson is obviously very exciting as well. So this room it's like night and day, I think. It's significantly improved. There was a mandate for this running back room to improve, and I think we've definitely seen that so far.
The last 40-yard run the Chiefs had was in 2023 in September. That just gives you an idea of the lack of explosiveness. That's another pile that we can stack on here of how the Chiefs can go from 6-11 to spin it around really quick to getting double digits on the other side of the ledger. But DiMercado had all those 40-yard plays, he's looked really good so far in OTAs.
Smooth.
You can see his ability. Ken Walker, you can go to a high school game and go, oh, that kid's a college player.
He's just
because
better
he
than
sticks
everybody
out.
else.
You go to a college game and you go, oh, that guy's a pro because he sticks out in everybody else. Ken Walker gives you that feeling when you watch OTAs. Oh, that's what a Super Bowl MVP running back looks like because he's just different. DiMercado, though, is the sneaky one. And with Emmett Johnson, we got high hopes for him with Brashard Smith. And Brashard Smith has the flexibility with his wide receiver background at Miami and the chance that you can do a lot of different things with him, which this offense likes to do with either RBs or those kind of slot receiver types. And so that running back room, if you want to get excited about something, that RB room is vastly different.
And looking at our veterans, it's no surprise for Brashard or Emmett Johnson because they know no different. But for Ken Walker and for Amari DiMercado to come here and to really embrace our culture is pretty cool. I mean, Ken Walker's the Super Bowl MVP, signed a big contract. If he didn't show up for OTAs, I don't know if people would really be too concerned about it. But he's out here and he's working, and he's ready to be a part of this, and he's not above any of the work that's required this time of year. I mean, these are voluntary practices, and they're out there absolutely busting it. So, yeah, Ken Walker, I think, has been one of my highlights so far. And, you know, going into the offseason, he was like, hey, if we could get Ken Walker, that'd be amazing. But that doesn't seem very realistic. I think both you and I were like, that's not going to happen after the Super Bowl. And then the news came through, and it's like, what? And it's fun to watch practice and to be like, yeah, that guy's on our team now.
Even better than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
A lot of you are going to travel this summer and all around the world, right? For our folks and fans that are in, they call it holiday, right, in Europe. Vacation here. One of the best things you can possibly see if you're flying is on time. Right now, why Matt and I are excited about the 2026 Kansas City Chiefs, we're looking at the board, and it says on-time arrival.